Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good evening, good evening, good night, good morning to whichever part of the world you're now joining us from. This is Dr. Matthews coming to you live from Guyana. Live here on the GMS Live Voice of Democracy on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm also coming to you live on the GMS Live Radio Guyana, which is an app that we use from Play Store, where the live radio station is being broadcast on. So, good evening to all of you. Sorry for my late start, but as you come in, please share the live. Let this go live stream, share the live. Let everyone knows that Dr. Matthews is in the house. Tonight's topic is about letting the revolution begin. But before we go into that, I want to make it absolutely clear, very absolutely clear. So, before what I want to talk about, before I go into the revolution, is tonight and every night this program comes to you with the kind compliments of Black Love. Black Love is a brand that is owned and patented by me locally here in Guyana, and it's also being printed on products and sold for the enhancement of the Gavin Matthews show and the strengthening of the movement. It's also being the show is also being promoted and supported by event management services and Greenleaf distributors. For any one of the three businesses that you want to get knowledge and information on, please call the number beneath the screen, beneath this live cast, as a matter of fact. And you can get all the information that you want to. Hold on. So, call the number, especially for the Black Love brand, and place your orders. Today, I had a conversation. I had many conversations today. And I wish the persons who call me during the day to have these conversations can call me at night when this program is on, because we had some very healthy conversations today. I had, as a matter of fact. And some of them I would want to share it with you. But one of them struck out the most, that stands out the most, as a matter of fact. And it was based upon the Black Love brand. I want to make sure that I get to put it over correctly, so persons who are looking at the show right now and listening on the online radio may have a very fair idea of who Gavin Matthews is. The Black Love brand has been around a little while. It has never really surfaced like how it's surfaced now. I have registered it and did all of that since last year. But because I intend to advertise it some more and make sure that I make some profit off of it. The reason why I'm doing so right now, it is because I work nowhere, I get no pay. My companies cannot have contracts. And let me break it down to you. They ain't got nobody who's going to hire me to do any job right now. And they wouldn't want the de facto regime knows that they're hiring, that Gavin Matthews is being employed in their organization. Never. Don't let me fool yourself. It ain't gonna happen. Private or public. They ain't got no private individual or no ministry whose PS is going to put, when I mean PS, permanent secretary, who's going to put their jobs at risk and at stake in hiring Gavin Matthews. There might be a problem if they got another Gavin Matthews and they have to verify it's the wrong one. But nobody who's going to hire me right now would risk that. Nobody, the government isn't going to do that. The de facto regime isn't going to do that. Neither would the private sector is going to do that. The private or the de facto regime is not going to give me contracts. So I have only one thing left, the brand that I have. That brand is for the sustainability of Gavin Matthews and to sustain what I do. Because having the support is what I don't have. So I have to resort to means that I can be independent. And I'm serious. I decided to bring it up tonight because I want people to know that it's not a point of selling the brand for $30 on an instrument or $60. The brand belongs to me. $30, 30 US dollars is 6,000 Guyana dollars. And the reason why it is being sold like that, as I say again, I'm going to continue to say it. It is to make sure that the brand is being sold, people get their items. Some people still waiting for their items, some people got their items. So the fact is that it is created and designed for the strengthening of the movement and the sustainability of Gavin Matthews and Gavin Matthews Show. This is the reason. And it aches me to talk about it on the show because some people just don't understand. One person said it's too expensive. I'm saying to everybody else, it is for the sustainability of me. It is to sustain me and strengthening the movement in which I progress in. The reason why it's like that and it's doing that is because of lack of the support of. You want me to tell y'all that nobody supports me? So this is the reason for the Black Love brand. It is to promote strength, unity, and a revolution to oppressiveness and racism and modern day slavery. That is what the Black Love brand is for. It's for a revolution against modern day oppression, slavery, and racism, to stand against it. That's what the Black Love brand is all about. There's no other way that I can sustain myself. I'm a political prisoner in my own country. There's certain things that you can do who are looking at this show that I cannot do. Certain things you can do that I cannot do. You think I can walk into the bank and open a new account? I can't. They'll seize it from since it opened. Than the rest in which they have. I can't do that. I can't open up a Cash App account because I definitely have to get an account. I gotta get a credit card account, something. I'm prevented from all these things. Even to the cell phone that I have, everything, every single thing I'm being monitored under. Which I'm not monitored under. There are things that I can't participate in because the de facto regime prefer to see me begging like a dog on the streets so they can hold on and me carry me in a car and kill me. That's how they do it. They make sure you become a pauper. You're poor, can't afford to eat, can't have a job because nobody will hire you. You're an enemy to the PPP. So all those who are trying their best to entertain you are going to be entertained by them. So my rights are being violated. My human rights are being violated. My constitutional rights are being violated. Me one alone, 2 years plus on this thing going over and over again. And I got an whole entire de facto regime taking me to court because of an emotional distress. People, this serves to tell you how effective I am. They want to make sure that everything around me must crumble. I must not. I must not enjoy resources to keep on fighting the fight. So I designed Black Love with the intentions to sustain me, my life, and to improve the movement of a revolution on the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. That's the reason for selling the Black Love brand. I cannot afford to give it away free. It is hard. So when I sit down and I promote the Black Love brand, it is for me to gain sustenance from it. And I make sure that when I came on tonight. I spend this time to explain because I think, like one man told me that, you know, I'm too expensive and uh, you can't afford this. But the thing is that if I'm selling something at $30 and you seen it as expensive, well, then can I get the support from you so I can sustain? No. Fine, but then do not misunderstand the reason why I'm selling the product. It is sad to say this from everybody that supports the Gavin Matthews show on the social media. It's sad to say that I don't get any physical support from 98% of them. But I'm not looking for that. I created a brand so it can support me and the show. That's the reason for the Black Love brand. That's the reason. So I don't want anybody to misinterpret me because I had two conversations today about the same thing. I am not rich. I am not wealthy. I may look so to some people, but I'm not. Everything I do now, I have to pay for it. And bringing out the Black Love Brand is to gain the affordability to do things so I can show the entire diaspora and Guyanese home here locally that I'm willing to make that sacrifice. We gotta be we here. We gotta be serious. We gotta support each other. We gotta support each other to make the movement grow. It is about to support. If nobody supports the movement cannot grow. Physically, financially, and spiritually, the movement needs the support. The revolution needs the support. Let's be serious. I mean, I done gone into my time already, but I think this is a better place to explain it. I even forget to turn on the radio. Now the radio going to turn on. Good night to those who are joining from the GMS Live Radio Guyana. I know that I was supposed to automatically turn the radio on, but it's now I remember because I'm looking at it and realize it wasn't streaming. But now it is to those who are listening via the online radio. I mean, come on, guys. And why I'm asking in such a nice way is because people still calling me to tell me something different. I mean, we got to be serious. We cannot move without the support of each other. Me alone can't do this thing. You alone can't do this. When we combine together in a collective and unison manner, then we make what isn't a reality a reality. We stop being a problem and become a solution to the problem. That's what we need to do. It's not a hard thing, but we need to do that. We need to. I'm so serious because we need to support each other financially. That is why I'm not saying that I'm to those who support me financially without even asking for anything else. I am grateful for them. I am. But the reason why I'm talking like this is because I'm not being supported greatly. And I don't want to come here and talk about that. That's the reason why I created the Black Love brand. It is for me to sell, make a market off of it so I can sustain my life. I can sustain the revolutionary process. That's what it's for. Good night to those who are now joining. This is Dr. Matthews from Guyana to the Caribbean and around the world. Welcome you tonight, and I appreciate a lot of people who are joining. To that person who likes how the radio is sung in the online radio, can you please share it? Send the app to people on WhatsApp so they can download it and they can be able to hear me loud and clear. There is well, this is the only session on the radio, as a matter of fact. But to those who are hearing it, to those who have the app on their phone and having the ability, or that electronic device and having the ability to hear it, can share it, share the app on their phone, share it to WhatsApp. You can do that and let people get to know that Gavin Matthews is on an online radio. Okay? So we're gonna start tonight's conversation. The revolution begins. You know, I was talking to some individuals today throughout the week, and one of Mr. Jagdio's supporters and I, we don't see eye to eye much, but we kind of start seeing eye to eye lately. And he wanted to know why. And I'm happy that I have these conversations with them. I'm so sad they don't call me when I'm live. To let people understand, they do call me. I do sit and talk to them. You understand? And I asked him, he said to me, why do I hate the PPP so much? And Mr. Jack Dio. And I said to him, when they had the Lusignan massacre, you know who was president? Bar Jack Dio. When they had the Bartica massacre, you know who was president? Barrett Jack Dio. When they had the Lindo Creek murders, you know who was president? Barrett Jack Dio. When they had the protesters being shot in Linden after protesting the conditions that they got to work in, you know who was president? Barrett Jack Dio. When Jiffy Lube's head, did they find it in some trench? And the morning, Ramadan running down the road when the shooting up take place and they kidnap him. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. Yes. When they kidnapped the US ambassador, I think was his son or his nephew or something like that. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. When Roger Khan reigned the streets in Guyana, When I tell you rain, narcotics and terror, rain in these streets. You know who was president? Barrett Jackdio. You know, I even said something to him. I said, when they tricked Mr. Khan and he decided to run, they caught him in Suriname. They took him to the US. He made a plea bargain because he was wanted in the United States of America for trafficking of drugs. And he made a plea bargain with them and he got a 15-year sentence reduction or some manner of the sort. He agreed to give information so it can help to reduce his sentence. And the information he gave, you know, against who? The Barrett Jagdeo government. And all his acolytes. And he got a sentence reduced. He's home back here. The US State Department wrote the Guyanese government to charge him for 200 plus wanted murders because he he, he confessed to that. That was part of the plea bargain. That is responsible for over 200 Guyanese death. Never charge him until a day like today. You know who was president then? Bart Jagdeo. They took 6 young men out of a car on Mandela Avenue, Mandela and Plaza Bridge. Could never forget that Sunday morning. And executed them. 6 young men. Execution style. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. You could imagine Sean Hines sat on the local media and said to Guyana and the entire media fraternity, even to Guyanese abroad, he said when they called him to make sure that the system is set up for Boss Waddlehead, say he agreed. Said he agreed. And by the time he reached there, he said a couple of people beat it to the punch. And Waddle was assassinated. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. When Bacchus sat down on that interview with then Mr. Adam Harris to talk about all the Jagdeo government is doing with the drugs and who going where and who getting murder, he knew that next day he was going to die because he talked out everything then. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. Hmm? Here was the most laughable thing. When Saktidio Sa was murdered, he was a sitting minister and a member of parliament. You know who was president? Barrett Jagdeo. The Barrett Jagdeo government, who was in charge of the police force then, is responsible for 1,480 Guyanese that died, predominantly black. who you think is supposed to be held for such a gruesome genocidal act? Bharat Jagdeo. So how can a man who's responsible for all these things can turn around and tell you about a democratic process when he has never governed in a democratic process? Now he's back again in his third term. You know who's supposed to be held responsible? A fraud Ali. Yep. He's not only back again, but now he has somebody on his leash controlling them. So in case anything, y'all don't blame me, blame me. So y'all see where it's going now? Y'all really, really see where it's going? It's going down that same line, that same road. Now, picture this same conversation, talking to the same guy. Picture this. I said to him, I said, if I was the United States of America and I want to enslave Guyana, I want to take away Guyana's resources, I want to make enough money out of that country so the country cannot, at no time at all, be rich enough to contest me. Who would I put in power? Y'all think about it. Who would I put in power? Who would I put into the line of succession of the executive? Bharat Jagdeo and his party, the People's Progressive Terrorists Party. Mr. Omar Mohammed, I don't care about the right pronunciation of no name. It's a fraud. Ali, this was say. You got a problem with it? The dunce. Let me call Jack your name again. Who installed or put the man who's the president now? Bharat Jagdeo. Is he qualified for the position? No. Where is the university that he went to? Still can't find it. Mr. Mohammed, I want you to go cross to I flat and see if you find the university they're talking about. You understand? So I want you to get it right. A sheer criminal convicts and crooks we got running this country. You what say? All of them are questionable characters. You check every one of them. Is it they never been charged or they were charged? Look at this one here we got. One here jail. Change his name because he served time in jail for murder. Or you call it manslaughter, whatever they call it, baby. You understand? Me watch. Me don't I don't fancy myself with nothing. Why stark is with in public. So when I say sit down here and I call him by his name is what boys do in public when they were in office. And y'all got problems with it. Cause y'all ain't want the world for know is these murderers. Y'all is hook up and carry your bed and sit down all oh. Oh, Bharati, you're showing democracy, eh? Them boys is killers, is murderers. You understand? But me frighten them. They gotta stay locking me up. They gotta stay running behind me. Cause I effective in everything I do. You know, frighten them boys. People like yeah, frighten them. Yeah, I gotta go and polish the boots. You understand? I like to respond. Some of y'all could call in so we can have this conversation. Me went to no university. Me went to no university. I love to read. I educate myself. I'm self-educated. I like that. What gives me strength. When I sit here and I talk, you can vex how much you want. Because Bharat Jagdeo is the number one enemy of the state. And everybody that follows under him are criminals just like him. Without no apologies. You understand? You without no apologies. I'm frightening them boys. But you don't gotta worry. I done block and delete you already. You don't gotta worry. So when we talking about the revolution starts. We need to support the revolution. These boys doesn't understand what is playing down from the Western world. And the Western world is using them like a guinea pig. And they will install the de facto regime will always put people in place that will encourage the continuance of slavery. Always. The West, the superpowers, would never encourage Guyanese wealth to pass to Guyanese. It will always prefer for Guyanese to become poor. So we can't represent the wealth that they're taking from us. By the time they done take all the wealth, we can't even carry them to court because the price to carry them to court is triple times we economy. We still can't carry them to court. We still can't. You pass in a budget for a couple hundred million US dollars and Exxon get your receipt for 9.5 billion. I wonder when we gonna audit the receipt and start making payment. I'm really wondering when. I wonder when. When are we going to audit that receipt and start making payment for 9.5 billion US dollars? You imagine we got money for lend Suriname 100 million US dollars. But we ain't got money for get back Jamaica the 9 million that we borrowed from them, don't know how much years ago. We ain't got a sort of money, no? We got money for lend Suriname 100 million US. But the 9 million US dollars that we borrowed since 2000 from the Bank of Jamaica, we can't pay them back up to now. Hmm? We can't pay them back up to now. Look, the continuous corruption and lawlessness in this place could never, ever, ever stop. Because this is how these politicians thrive. They like the corruption, they like the lawlessness. It's what puts money into their pockets. But where the ordinary man is concerned, they don't care. Their position is that you're supposed to put them and keep putting them in power, and they got to keep making money. But this particular de facto government, this particular de facto, the thing is that everybody, all these convicts that they took and put them in power, they has caused terror in this land. They have reigned terror in this land. Real, when I tell you terror, real terror. And the sheer criminals they're finding for put as ministers. Look in the same bar, Jack, the government. Who you think was the Minister of Home Affairs? Ronald Godraj. Went to jail, studied law in jail, come out, turn a Minister of Home Affairs and open up a phantom squad running around this place killing hundreds of Guyanese. No, poor he dead now. Because when they actually came back, they put him as honorary consulate from Guyana to India. That was the position now Charandas take up. All these persons, they are so much in questionable character, from the man who's in charge of the Office of Financial Affairs, which is Bharat Jagdeo, to the senior minister under him, who's in charge of the Office of Financial Affairs. What's his name again? By their names is Bisa, like I can't remember them. Right? They ain't got no Ministry of Finance. It's Office of Financial Affairs. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Finance is redundant. That place is not a ministry anymore. It falls under the office of the president, the office of the de facto president. Ashley Singh, yes, that's his name. And you check everybody that they brought back, everybody are questionable characters. Questionable characters. These are the kind of people we got to deal with. Then the minister of local government finds himself in a position where he's now known as a sex pedophile, because somebody took everything that he wrote them under their WhatsApp account and put it on social media to show them how this boy just go about seeking to lure women. Then we got the ex-chancellor of the judiciary son, who refused to apologize. Everybody got questionable characters. Oh Lord. Now we got to try with this one, who presumes or perceives to be acting commissioner of police. Hold on. Good night to you. Hello. You need to call me back on voice and not video. Mhm. Yeah. The thing is that these these lawless practices. Yeah. Good night to you.
As politicians in this country, you're on point with the way talking. These people in Senate see that I ask myself, what gonna happen with the next election? What coming? Because, like I said before, We know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a serious time because everybody gonna look for fights to see if they could get back into power.
Mm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
I understand
And
where you're
it's
coming
only
from.
Norton. It's only Norton and Jack Rosie two man got running this bump. We got any more other body, strong body, left back in the space here.
Norton who?
Jack Bill. But
Jack
I
Joe.
asked
Jack
myself
Joe
if
is
I
a
got any more other.
politician. Jack Joe is
I
not a
know he's not no
politician. Jack Joe is
politician.
a murderer. He's not a politician.
No, but Norton, no. We got anybody more like Norton, man?
No, we ain't got nobody else like Norton. Norton is Norton.
We ain't got no other body like United, so.
You understand? Like who?
Like you, empowering the people, them. They ain't really got nobody empowering the people
No,
around this
you
place, you
gotta
know. It's just that.
understand me as a different person than all the rest of them. I prefer to die for my country, friend. Me and the rest of them who want to live long, I prefer to sacrifice this. For me, country, I'm a fellow Guyanese. Because I got a purpose. I prefer die for something and live for nothing. You understand me? I's not one of them who gonna sit down and dead in this country over stupidness. Jack, they gonna kill me without a purpose. Or nobody gonna kill me without a purpose. They're gonna kill me for a purpose. And I gotta work hard for it. Because I gonna step on a revolution, friend, and I ain't gonna stop. You understand?
I remember, you continue your program, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, darling. Yes. That's how serious I am. That is how serious I am. I ain't looking round the bush for nobody pet me. Cause me petting nobody. You understand? Once you committed gruesome acts against Guyanese, I can step up and I can talk. Yeah, good night to you. Hello. Good night to you. Yeah, good night to you.
Yes, you know the previous caller was speaking just now about the opposition leader and so forth.
Mhm.
But the reason we in this predicament right now as the opposition, this man range is very vindictive. This man doesn't mean to step aside and move off the scene. Now, remember now he's the person that got a Robin Norton name on the list Robin Norton to enter parliament. So right now, as I see Robin Norton is just it's just the opposition, the leader for the PNC party, and that's it.
Mhm.
He's powerless right now because the man can't do as he's supposed to because of Ranger. You understand me?
Mhm.
And the present de facto government is using that as a yardstick and taking advantage of the situation. They're doing everything back as they like how they like.
Of course.
Just because of this man, Granger not wanting to give Reed the extra power. So he's the person right now that Gawi in this predicament right now. You understand? Because he's very vindictive.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
understand me?
I understand what you say.
He got it. Yeah, he need to lose and let go. If he time up, he finish. He saw every time. He play part and that's it. Move on now. You understand me?
I understand what you say.
But the reason, like I said, and Jagdo is not stupid because he watching from the outside and he's seeing that Granger not giving Norton the full support. That's why they're doing all these things. That's why they could afford to appoint Hicken as commissioner. Now I hear something now. I see something on the social media now that the one that end up now turning back and charge the policewoman now.
Listen to me
You understand
carefully.
me?
Listen to me carefully. Where there is no support, where there is no support and representation for black people, we will always go through
Mm.
this. because you know why? They have no intentions. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Where there's no support, that's how it's going to be. Sorry to say that, but that's it.
That's it,
You
brother.
don't see
Exactly. That's it.
you don't see the son even apologizing. Make he apologize. If the own party people ain't forcing him to apologize, and the opposition ain't forcing him to apologize, who you apologizing to? Eh?
Exactly.
You hear what he said? Man
But
got no place in life. That's what he said.
but 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 back to my point was to you was sent you Gavin. It's
Mm.
just like I'll be there right now just to let Miss Martin let her stop because he really got the power to do and move and do certain things because of Ranger. Ranger still got the name on the list. He doesn't want to move his name. You understand me? So as far as I see RB right now, we really can't blame RB to an extent because as I see it, RB right
Hold
now
on,
is
hold on,
powerless
hold
to an
on,
extent.
hold on, hold on. We maybe can't blame Harvey to an extent. You know who to be blamed? Do you really want to know who to be blamed? We, the Guyanese people, who sit down and keep on accepting this lawlessness. We're the ones who's supposed to be blamed because we intend not to move for our own sake. We prefer sit down and accept this.
Point taken. That is so true. Because what I realized take two beers at Sweet Pine or some shop and we get money when the weekend come and we good to go. We in case if rain
We
if
sunny
a
fall from
thunderstorm stop,
Monday.
nothing we in case. Understand me? We ain't got you don't mean got time with politics and all of that. I want to the foolishness. You understand me? And the people living havoc when the opposite side.
Of course.
Anyway, Gavin, this is my contribution for tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Carl.
You know, we got to be truthful to ourselves. If Guyanese who are home here seeing all these atrocities that took place in this country for 23 plus years into play and do nothing, that means we are going to experience the same terror over and over again. You know, I said to one of my friends today, I said, if I do happen not to experience the new year and I happen to die, via way of Guyana is going to come out to support the funeral of Gavin Matthews. And they're going to make a whole lot of noise. But before the guy is dead, nobody coming out to make a lot of noise. Like, we prefer wait and see our leaders go down, the original revolutionaries go down the grave dead, then for stand up and cry, then for make some noise and then get quiet 2 weeks after and say he was a good man. But to sit and listen, not to my ideologies, but to facts, the things that these particular people keep doing. And you know, the thing is that everything I said on my show happens to come to pass. Everything. This is the blueprint of the People's Progressive Terrorist Party. Their blueprint is about terror, not governance. They don't want to know anything about governance. It's about pure terror. And you can imagine their own constituencies are refusing to accept such terror. And they're trying to do something about it, and we still sit down and doing nothing. Every day these people sit down there and they survive another day, they become more powerful. Let me tell you something. If the shipment of ammunition and arms did find its way in Guyana into the hands of a private individual, man, oh man, oh man, they'd reign terror in this country, bro. They'd reign terror in this country. They suddenly will be doing the right things that they're being paid to do. Before we ain't see nothing yet, we are going to become a poverty stricken country. Its people are going to be so diverse into poverty that two things would reign in this country: terror, once again, and poverty. Terror and poverty which reign in this country. Who's on the terror side will may get some improvement in life because you have to you have to love taking the life of another human being in order to be paid handsomely, in order for you to have a piece of house and lot and a car. I reminded an individual, I said, do you forget how Hits and Jams first started? It was in the building of Altitude, that where Club Altitude is, in Sandy Bob Street. You forgot that building? You know who used to run and control that? Not only Hits and Jams was a DJ up there, but you know who used to run it? It was Mr. Khan and his acolytes. That's how they gained their fame. When your girl gone up there, it's only she alone you can't go up there. Cause she look nice. With the security used to control the door. You check every single iota person who got their wealth in this country. It is through terror and funding of terror. Look, Jerry Gavaya, brother. Same Jerry Gavaya, who owned Rorima's group of companies, who is now the advisor of our public security to the dunce, caught in the airplane, loaded with US currency in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, smuggling it in Guyana to finance terrorist activities. So, and guess who was president then? Suddenly, all the information gets swept under the carpet. All the information gets swept under the carpet. I don't know what's going on, but I want in Parliament, he has to go. That's what he has to do. So Mr. Norton can be sworn in as an opposition leader. If so be the case, you are hampering progress, big man or old boy. If nobody can tell you, well, you know me, Gaffy Matthews, me got no respect for nobody. I mean, mouth here. If the people want to change, change is a must for them. They have voted for it. Step aside. These things are destroying your country. characteristics as the devil knows where you're holding on upon. You ain't got no more money for get. You're not president no more. You want to become opposition leader? Because I know the article in the constitution of the APNU AFC says that the leader of the party with the most votes, which is the PNC, becomes the opposition leader and head of the list. I don't know what you're holding on upon right now. I think today was supposed to be the day that he was supposed to be taking over as opposition leader, the 30th. I strongly think today was that day. I don't know what happened. If I late with the news, somebody tell me. Because Parliament was supposed to reconvene today. So, in other words, you're stymieing the position of the man becoming opposition leader so the PPP can get certain things done. Well, means are you being paid, Mr. Granger, to do that? Because this is the only thing I can think of. Because if you're still the head of the list and Mr. Norton can't be sworn in, that means that whatever the de facto administration does, you know about it. Because if I can't sit down with the opposition leader to choose a commissioner of police, well, I could choose whoever I feel like because there's no opposition leader. And there's no police service commission. I don't think so. How are they going to be parliament and you don't got an opposition leader? How parliament going to be reconvened when the opposition leader resigned? You gotta understand the tricks in this thing, Guyanese who looking. You gotta understand every little thorn got a trick in it. I don't only want them to go out and picket Mr. Granger. Picket is a nice word. I want them to go out and protest the de facto administration. This is what I want to do. I want to go out and protest the de facto administration. This nonsense that is continuing to plague our society needs to come to an abrupt end. Seriously, this continued craziness that's continuing to plague our society needs to come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, Guyanese all, this is Dr. Matthews, came to you live on the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Tonight's show has been sponsored once again by Black Love. Black Love is a brand created by me to sustain what I do. So I appreciate your purchase on the items that Black Love brand will be printed on. The purchasing of these items with the brand, it is to sustain Gavin Matthews because I'm a political prisoner in my own country. I cannot be employed by anyone. My companies or businesses cannot have contracts. I myself are subject to certain scrutiny. So the de facto regime prefer me to be a pauper. So the reason for Black Love is to give strength and sustenance to what I do and to continue the revolution. I want to say that for any orders, please call the number 611-6575. It's at the bottom of the screen there, 592-611-6575. You can call the number via WhatsApp or straight. I'll be able to answer it and support the cause. It is also brought to you by
provide comprehensive event management services and Greenleaf distributors. I want to say thank you very much for the time that you have shared with my live stream to make it a reality in your homes and in your workplaces and on your personal hand device. Stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask, and don't forget the little ones you take into public places. This is Dr. Matthews saying good night and Cheerios for now.